Welcome to the West Virginia Case Podcast, hosted by Les Odell. Join us as we dive deep into all things strange, including Bigfoot, aliens, ghosts, and more. Pull up a chair and set for a spell. It's going to be a great time. Now, without further delay, let's get the show started.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey folks, I forgot to click on the button there. Welcome back to the West Virginia Case Podcast. Tonight, my son will be on. My oldest son. We're gonna do like a, I guess you say, flip the script type show here. He's got some questions prepared. He's gonna ask me some questions. We're gonna have some discussions. He's just getting home. He's grabbing something to eat real quick, and he'll be jumping on like pretty soon. He just messaged me, said it'd be a couple minutes. But yeah, with that being said, how did everybody's weekend go? I had a great weekend this weekend. The family, me, Jennifer, Mason, Jax, my brother, my sister-in-law, my niece, my brother-in-law, his significant other, and their two kids. We spent a great time at Burnsville Lake this weekend. We went out boating. We rented a boat from the at the Burnsville Marina. We got a friend there that owns the marina, and yeah, we had a fun time. A lot of good time. We went swimming. We done some fishing. Explored a little bit. Had a real good time. Yeah, Justin just sent me a message. Said he's doesn't have the link. So give me 1 second here, folks, and I have to send him the link. So if I go blank here for a minute, that's because I'm sending him the link. Oh, sorry, Justin. I actually sent it to the wrong person. I didn't realize it wasn't you that was up. Let me get it here. It did it again. What did I just hold on. There we go. Sorry, Danny. I don't know why I accidentally sent it to you. I'm sorry about that. I did it twice. I wasn't reading the name at the top there. I had two windows open. So, Justin, you should have it now. And, yeah, we're going to have a good show tonight. It's going to be fun. Just a laid-back kind of cool show. Little questions. You guys got any questions, feel free to ask them. And I just want to say hi to everybody. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Wes. Hi, Dave. How you guys doing? Hey, Belinda. Oh, Tammy, Dave, and Belinda. Hey, Danny, I didn't mean to send you that link a couple times. I had you and Justin side by side on my computer, and I wasn't paying attention. I sent it to you twice. The camp out guys, Danny, you're more welcome to come. Anybody that's on here is more welcome to come. It's going to be the 18th, right? Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, we'll leave on Sunday, but the 18th, 19th, and 20th of October. It's going to be at the Laurel Fort Campground. It's outside of Elkins. Off of Middle Mountain, or if you go in that way, or you come in from the Glady side. I will actually, whenever I get ready to post it, I'll share it with everybody. I'll share the coordinates and a link to the campground. They have, I forget exactly how many campsites they have, but there's plenty. It's on both sides of the road there. It's a pretty remote little campground. It has 2 restrooms. There's no showers or anything like that, but it is $8 per site per day. It's not per person or anything. It's per site. Like if we got 2 or 3 campsites or whatever, there's enough room for a couple tents on each one, so yeah, we'd all share that cost, and we'll just have a good time. We'll sit around the campfire, and maybe we'll do some hiking back into the valley there. I know there's a pretty cool field back here we can just check out, hang out. maybe do some Bigfooting, I guess you'd say, look at the stars, whatever we want to do. It's just anything. We're not, nothing is set in stone what we have to do, or we can just to get together, just everybody get together, have a good time, and have some fun. Get to meet each other face to face instead of on through a screen here, and just have a good time. But yeah, that will be October 18th, 19th, 20th at Laurel Fork Campground. I'm going to invite a couple other people. I know Tony said he wanted to come. With nowhere it's at going to try. I'm in process of moving and selling this house. Okay, Belinda. Hey, we all understand. But yeah, if you can come, you're more than welcome to come. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to invite some other folks, and it's just going to be a good time. We'll sit down, hang out, shoot the bull. Tell some stories, tell some theories, whatever we want to talk about. It doesn't have to be all Bigfoot stuff related. It could be anything, and we'll just shoot the breeze. Just have a good time, like kind of like a meet and greet with everybody, and get to know each other and what we, I guess you say, how we feel about certain things. Bigfoot related stuff, and some theories we may have, or experiences we may have. Things like that. So I think it's going to be a great time. Yeah. Does anybody have anything to ask before Justin pops in here? He should be coming in pretty soon. Oh, I just wanted to let you all know the cast that or the print that my son found. My son Mason, my youngest son, we took that cast to the West Virginia Bigfoot Museum this past weekend, and it was accepted into the museum. We were very gracious for that. It was welcome with open arms, and he's super excited. He's super excited that it got accepted in. It's on display. You can actually go to the West Virginia Bigfoot Museum Facebook page. Sorry, I'm reading while I'm trying to talk. But you see, they put together an article about it. There's not a whole lot of information in the article because David sent me a message earlier today that he was writing an article. Well, at work, I didn't get to see his message, so I sent him the information later. Maybe he can update it a little bit. But yeah, Mason's very, very excited about that. He's really loving getting out and doing, Bigfooting with his dad and investigating and exploring and everything else. James, yes. James asks, has there ever been Bigfoot activity in that area? Yes, in the surrounding area. Glady has had quite a few sightings, which is not too far down the road. The area of Osceola has had sightings. Elkins for sure, which is a little further away, but it's had a number of sightings. Spruce Knob has had sightings, supposed sightings and activity. Or I can't say all sightings, but activity, supposed activity. But yeah, there's been a lot of activity within that area that people have claimed. I have seen a Bigfoot on the side of the main road, and it had orange hair. Has anyone seen one like that? Johnny, where was that at? Can you please tell me that? Because I have heard a couple reports about orange collared Bigfoot. One of them was actually in the southern part of the state. So I'm wanting to know if you might have been in that area, what area you're in. Just to give you an example real quick, the one that I did, the report that I did take from that area, Johnny, was a couple years ago. There was a report, or there was a sighting in October 2019 by a gentleman named Billy Humphreys. He had a sighting on his property, and he went through the whole thing with me, and and interviews and stuff like that. But it was a year or so later, maybe in two. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly. But a gentleman, but Billy's sighting was not orange. But I'm leading up to that. Yeah. Okay. This might be kind of, because it was in Fayette County. The Billy Humphrey sighting was in Fayette County. But this one was also in Fayette County. I can't remember the exact town he was in, but or wasn't a town. It was actually outside of a town. He was taking his kids to school, and he was driving along because he said, I don't believe in any of this stuff. He said, but I found you online, and he said I wanted to talk. Was that you, Johnny? The one with the kudzu vine? Was it the kudzu vine, the one that you sent me a picture of? I thought if it is, I thought I recognized the name. Oh yeah, man. I use your sighting all the time, man. I use it all the time when I talk to people about Billy Humphrey sighting, and then you sent me that. I don't remember all the details exactly like you told me because I remember, but I remember you said he was going to school and something put his hands through the kudzu vine, pulled the vine back, and you've seen this thing stick its head out, and that's the one I'm talking about being orange, orangish color. Yeah, I bet you I've got the notes here somewhere in my notebooks where I talk to you, and that's why when I see that name pop up, I'm like, man, that name looks familiar. So yeah, folks, that was a pretty awesome encounter that he had, and I don't remember how long ago was that, Johnny? Was that like 2 or 3 years ago? I think we talked maybe. Belinda, that area is crazy. Even UFO sightings near Elkins. Yes, I just did an interview with a gentleman in the Elkins area in 2011 or 12, I think it was. Okay, it's been 3 years ago. Okay, had a sighting of not necessarily a craft. He didn't say he seen a craft, but he saw a light that was about 40 feet off the ground, that was about 20 feet in circumference, about 20 feet across. But he didn't exactly see a craft. He said he couldn't say he's seen a craft, but he's seen this light. But it went off. It shot off like it was a craft of some sort. Yeah, Johnny, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about that. I like I said, I got all your information and stuff here in my notebooks. I think they're back here on the shelf. But yeah, I talk about it every time. Every time I do a speech, or whatever you want to say, a presentation. You're part of my presentation when I talk about, when I use yours right after Billy Humphrey's. Justin, I did send you the link, bub. Why is it not going through to him? Hold on, folks. I got to try it again here. I did send him the link. Oh. Well, folks, when you send somebody a link, make sure you push the send button. Yeah, I forgot to push the send button. I was trying to rush around. I don't blame you, Johnny. It would freak me out too. Have you had any other people in that area? You hear anybody talk about anything like that? Dave, we saw that silver spot at the Grafton Festival. Oh yeah, I remember. That's when you and I were talking, Dave. We was in the parking lot, looked over to across the river. Good evening. Not so perfect Bigfoot show. Good evening. How you doing this evening? I'd like to meet you one day, Johnny, in person. I know we haven't got the chance to hook back up. I really would like to meet you. Come down there in that area. I've got somebody else I want to talk to in that area. I'd like to, go to where you had that sighting. I really would, just to get a look at what the surrounding area. What's going on there? Maybe I can find some other people that's in that area. Okay, here we got Justin coming on. Yeah, Johnny, you still have my number, because I believe we talked on the phone, didn't we? If you do, send me a text, and if not, here in a little bit, send me a message on Facebook. I'll send you my number again. And yeah, we need to meet up. I really want to talk to you about that. Thanks, Not So Perfect. I appreciate that very much. Okay, we got Justin on, and like I said, folks, it's going to be like a flip the script type show. He's going to ask me some questions. I'm doing my best to answer them. I don't know what kind of questions he's got. We just want to do this for a fun show. But if you guys got questions as well, we'll also do that. So here we go. We'll bring Justin on.
Hello. You hear me all right?
Yeah, let me get you on the right screen here. There we go.
There you go. Can I go full screen here?
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Okay. It was just looked weird on my end.
No, you're good. Wes, I'm still waiting to. Yeah, I want to. That's another reason I want to come down, Wes, to meet Johnny is I want to come back to your place, and go look around some more. And I want to tell you about those 2 sightings that were in your area that I took from the festival earlier this year, or a few months ago. That you'll find interesting because they were with certain distance from your house, one on the other side of your house, and fit the description that you told me what you had seen. So I thought it was pretty interesting. Wes says hi, Justin.
Oh, hi.
Can you see the chat? The chat?
I don't. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
When one
I
comes,
don't know how to.
Can you see it when I put it up on screen?
Yeah, I see it there now.
Okay. Anytime anything comes up, I'll just put it up on the screen.
Oh,
Danny
okay.
says hi.
Hi. I see it now.
All right. Well, hey, I just seen you a few minutes ago.
I know. I know.
Yeah, folks. Justin just got home because he was just here at the house. He dropped my granddaughter off to spend the night, and we're happy to have her. She's a bundle of joy. She's in there watching Lilo and Stitch now and eating cheese doodles.
Yeah.
So he had to get home, get something to eat. So how do you want to do this, man?
I got about 12 questions, and then
Okay.
a speed round where I'll just ask you rapid fire questions and you just answer.
Okay. We'll just do a discussion for the questions, or just an answer. Okay.
I got questions for you, and you have a story or
Okay.
a reason for why behind your answer, and then we'll
Okay.
just talk. We'll talk from there.
All right.
All right. Question number 1: Scaredest you've ever been during an investigation, and the story why.
Bigfoot or paranormal?
If you have one of each or whatever one you think is best.
I can't say in Bigfooting I've actually been really been afraid of anything.
Yeah.
Other than the time that Mason and I were set up a camp outside of Elkins in Otter Creek area, and it got late at night. It was cold, and all of a sudden we were being surrounded by coyotes. They started yipping and coming and surrounding like kind of the camp. I wasn't really afraid if I was there, for me per se, but I was afraid for Mason. He was only 4.
Yeah.
So I shot one time out into the ground and they ran off, and then Mason was still afraid. So
Yeah.
I packed up the tent or the camp, like in the middle of the night, and hiked out in the middle of the night through these tall laurel bushes. And yeah, that made me, it was a little bit nerve wracking. As far as the paranormal stuff, as investigating paranormal, probably the time that we were at Highland. There, you and I were at Highland. I think there was a couple other people there too. I don't remember if DJ was there. And no, that was when Mike and his son were there. I think it was.
Yeah.
And you guys had started down. I'm thinking that was the night. I might have it wrong, but anyway, you were there, and you had walked around to the other side of the church, headed toward the car or something.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the porch, on the stoop on the porch, and the door opened on the church.
Yeah.
And I heard like a low growl come from inside the church. That was pretty unnerving, and that was the same night that when we went home. And we went to the apartment. You were in taking a shower, I believe, or you had went to your bedroom first, or already. I don't remember which. But I'm sitting in my chair, and that was right inside. You remember the apartment had to went in the mud room, and then it went into the living room. My chair sat right there.
Yeah.
Justin, there's 3. Tammy says hey. Dave says hey, and Belinda says hey.
Oh, hi. I'm not seeing it now, Dad.
I haven't put them up there, but
Okay.
but I'm sitting in my chair and I hear the doorknob jiggle, and when the doorknob jiggles, I hear the door open on the apartment.
Yeah.
And I get up and I'm thinking somebody was coming in the apartment, and I get up and expecting somebody to be at the door. There shouldn't have been anybody there because I remember that was probably like 2 or 3 in the morning when we got home.
Oh yeah.
And I shut the door, didn't lock it, and I pulled like the doorknob to make sure it was latched. And I went back down and I sat in the chair again, and I heard the same thing again. And the doorknob jiggled. You can hear that rattling noise. The door opens, and I get up, and there's still nobody there. This time I shut the door, or before I shut the door, I say, "Hey, I don't know who you are. You can't come here. You can't, be here to mess with me and my boy. And you need to go wherever you come from. You don't have permission to be here." And I shut the door and locked it, and nothing ever happened again. Mainly, that's probably the scariest thing because that's the first time, and I think the only time I really can say that something actually came home after an investigation with us.
Yeah. I remember one morning that I remember the door opening at the apartment before.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was with you when it happened that night, but I remember one. I thought it was a morning.
Well, it was early in the morning. We got back really early from the investigation, like I said,
Yeah.
2:30, well, midnight, early, whatever. Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah.
All right,
All right.
I'm gonna throw. Wait a minute. I'm gonna throw one up here that Danny has real quick. Most famous place you've investigated. I don't know if you want to say famous. I've been to Waverly Hills. I've been to Prospect Place Mansion. You've been to Prospect Place Mansion.
Yeah.
I've been to the Weston Insane Asylum, St. Albans Sanatorium in Radford, Virginia. A few others I've been to, but yeah, I enjoy doing those, but I enjoy doing the more obscure, or maybe unheard of. Sometimes I even enjoy doing investigations in places that really don't haven't really not had much activity, and we've done that a few times, and
Yeah.
and had some awesome stuff captured.
Yeah. It's always interesting when you're just running a recorder.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yep.
alrighty. Question number 2. Rank your top 5 cryptids you'd want to encounter, and why?
Encounter.
Yeah, having an encounter with.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
shit.
Bigfoot for one. Bigfoot for one, I think, because that's what I go out and look for. On a regular basis. But I've also looked for other cryptids that people have told me about. And it may not be ones that people have heard about. They may just be a strange animal, strange cryptid, and I would like to see. It was a one-off thing, kind of. I would love to see the vegetable man, veggie man, whatever you want to call him, from
Yeah.
Reesville. That was mainly because it was a one-off thing, and I think it'd be really cool to see something that happened so long ago. I think it was 1968, if I'm not mistaken, in June or July of 1968. Let me see here. I would love to. Oh, Loch Ness is on there. Loch Ness would be number 3, or Nessie.
Yeah.
I've always had a fascination. She might. Yeah, Nessie's going to have to move up number 2.
Yeah.
Bigfoot, Nessie, and yeah, I'm gonna put Veggie Man in there. I'll tell you about that here in a minute. Not so perfect. The Agua, definitely, because it's just a fascinating subject. Agua, Agua, I call it Agua. A lot of people say Agua. It's Ogua. It's a supposedly a two-headed snapping turtle with a 15-foot long tail that lives and travels or inhabits the Monongahela River between Fairmont, West Virginia, all the way to Pittsburgh. There's stories that span that whole 123 miles of that river. So that's 4. Number 5. There's so many because you got Grafton Monster, but I think Grafton Monster is a Bigfoot creature. So almost, Dogman. Dogman fascinates me, but I'm like many other people. I do not think I want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard people that have seen it saying that they immediately say they're terrified. that this thing looks like it's just something there just to cause havoc, rip and tear, whatever. So I don't know if I really want to see that. Let me think. Mm-hmm. I'd say maybe I don't know. There's in Indiana and there's other places. There's stories about Indiana. I don't know if you call it a cryptid or not. This I think this might fit more in a fae, but the Indiana and plus in the Northeast Pacific or the Pacific North, the Northeast. Um, I would think seeing a puck wedgie, something like that
Yeah.
would be cool. Even though there's some scary stories about these things luring people into the woods and people disappear, but I don't know. I find, I don't know if you want to call that cryptid or just, I think I'd more in a fae, but the fae stuff, I'm just kind of getting into that,
Yeah.
but I like the fae stuff, with troll or, just different things, trolls and, uh, brownies and other stuff. I just think that's so. Maybe Puck Wedgie would be number 5.
So no Mothman.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to see Mothman or not.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't. I don't know. I mean, I've never seen it, but I've talked to people that supposedly have seen it. And I don't know. Maybe it's not on my list because I feel that it's so overplayed. And,
Yeah.
Bigfoot's over. Bigfoot is as well. Um, but I don't know. Since I do a lot of Bigfoot stuff, I think I might. It has to be number 1.
Yeah, but you're from West Virginia,
Yeah.
and yeah, and it's
Uh,
almost it'd be almost cooler than figuring out if Bigfoot was real or not. If you found out if Mothman was, if you got an actual answer on Mothman before Bigfoot,
right.
that'd be pretty neat. Or
Uh,
any of those like pterodactyls people see.
the pterodons, the pterodactyls,
Yeah.
yeah. The roping. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the roping might be, but that's a Papua New Guinea thing more than anything.
Yeah.
But here, I have taken a report of flying dinosaurs or whatever you want to call them. One was near Buchanan a few years ago. Um, but here's an interesting thing that a lot of people don't know. Laurel that owns and runs her and her son run the Bigfoot Museum in Sutton. Laurel grew up in Papua New Guinea.
Really.
She said she talks about. I want her one day on here to talk about that. But she talks about how that's ingrained in the culture over there about this, and what people don't may not know about the roping. It's a flying pterosaur type thing, pterodactyl, but it has the belly. Supposedly, the belly is a light, like glows as a light, and I think there was another one in Iowa years ago. There was a creature called the uh, Van Meter. Oh shoot, I can't remember the rest of it. But Van Meter is not ghost. I'm trying to. I'm having a blank here. But supposedly it was a light, some kind of creature with a light in its body. So yeah, but those probably my 5. I mean, if I would have to sit and think about it a little bit more, maybe it'd be a little bit different. But
I think that encounter you talked about on the last podcast with that dog hog type thing that guy
oh
seen. I think
yeah,
that'd be interesting to see.
yeah, the Ashur
Yeah.
Andrew Shores or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't see. I'm still wondering if he actually had an encounter with something, or he was in some type of time slip.
Yeah.
I'm more inclined to say a time slip, but it was
Yeah.
but I mean, but here's the thing. After that happened, after I put that out there a few times, I had other people talk about it. But I started hearing on other podcasts about people seeing what seemed to be like a giant hyena across the United States.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Some of these phenomenons seem like supernatural, but also once people start talking about them, they've seen more. It's almost like the energy people are giving out with
Yeah,
talking about them almost makes them appear more, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what they call. I mean, there's a term for it. It's called a topa. A
Yeah,
topa.
we're like the
That's
scary.
it's
What's
a
it called? The scaregetti, like the Slender Man stuff.
that was on creepy pasta scare.
Scaregetti, scaregetti,
But yeah, but
scaregetti.
that's the thing
That
is
sounds better.
the rake it's on there that's got its name basically from the creepy pasta
Oh yeah, that.
website. That's just where it's got its name basically.
I
It's
remember.
got a generic term, um,
I remember a few
but
years
there's
ago,
been
Tony Merkel was taking
yeah,
encounters of that, and it was very. That's very. They were very interesting encounters.
but it it's been there's been sightings of that thing for a long time, and
Yeah,
it just got its name from that. Yeah. But yeah, you know,
but it's
but a
always
toll
interesting when you get multiple unique encounters that are
right,
similar, but these people. I
right,
mean, how would they? They can't just reach out to each other and be like, "Let's make a
yeah,
new story up or a new phenomenon or a new." And so that's always interesting to me. Like Flannel Man was, and
right, yeah. Flannel
so
Man's a pretty cool story. Mothman 46 here. I've personally killed a thunderbird. I woke up the next day with a bad headache and suspicion of mischief charges. No more bum wine for me.
yeah,
That's that rock gut stuff there, Roger. You don't need to be
yeah.
drinking that stuff anymore. Let me see here. What else we got? Uh, Not so perfect. Bigfoot once said something about the Veggie Man. Real quick, the Veggie Man was in, like I said, June or July 1968. Um, there was a gentleman living outside of Fairmont, near the town of Reesville. He was hunting woodchuck, which is groundhogs. Which we call groundhogs. I don't know why the story says woodchucks. I have no idea, but it's groundhog. And it was a hot day. On his way home, he had stopped to get a drink out of his a water bottle, thermos, whatever he had. I don't know. And he started hearing this high pitched jabbering noise, like something talking at a high speed. And he also, at the same time, went to grab his handkerchief out of his back pocket to wipe his face. That is how the story goes. And when he did, he felt sharp pains in his arm, and he turned around and seen this thing standing there. It looked like a stocky um, creature, I guess, a plant-like creature with orange and yellow eyes that rotated and almost mesmerizing, kind of hypnotizing. But he could understand this thing was talking to him, saying, "I'm not here to hurt you. I need help," or something like that, something to that effect. And as he looked down at his arm, this thing had like needle-like things protruding from its fingertips, stuck in his arm, and for lack of better words, said it was sucking the blood from his arm, almost like it was needing a transfusion. And he talked about this went on for close to a minute or so, and then after that, it let go, and it bound off is the way it was put. It bound off, in large bounds and over the nearby ridge. Um, but that was a report taken by Gray Barker. It got pretty well known again here in the past couple of years, and I remember putting it out there when I found it probably 5 or 6 years ago. So I don't know. It actually has a little festival that the Moth Boys put on here recently. So yeah, it's another one brought to light, just like the Graph the Monsters gaining momentum again. The story about it. So, but yeah, that's the story in a kind of a nutshell about the Veggie Man. Mothman 46. Here we go. Dogman is just a filthy dog. I learned him some act right with a rolled up newspaper. USA Today. Yeah, no doubt. I don't know if I really want to mess with him.
Uh-uh.
No. Hey, Mothman. If I think you just ought to buy a dog collar and just go put it on him, and you just walk him around for a little bit. Whistle pigs. Yep, groundhogs are whistle pig.
Oh yeah, got one trying to take my garden out every couple of days.
Okay.
All right, are you ready for question number
Yeah.
3, Dad?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know. Okay. A place that scares you, a place that changed you, and a place you love to be.
A place that scared me.
Scares you or scared. It could be actively scares you.
It was a place that scared me is no longer there, and it's the same place that changed me.
Yeah.
And that would have been the house we lived in on when I was a kid on Michael's Hill in outside of Worthington. That's where
I thought you were gonna bring up the house in Greentown.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I thought
Well,
I
well,
when I
yeah. I
thought of
mean,
this when I thought of this question, I thought of that.
yeah, it's right up there, and it's still. But the thing is, it's both of them still do. Um, the house in Four States is no longer there. It's gone. That's where I had my first experience, I guess you say, with the shadow person, and kind of what got me into everything I do. You led me instead of me running from the weirdness, the strangeness and stuff. It actually steered me in the direction of interest. I mean, I just thought it was. I don't know. I started listening to all kind of different stories, and then I got into books and stuff like that. But yeah, yeah, the Canute Farm, uh, yeah, it's still there. The guy is actually a guy has actually bought that house a few years ago, restored that house because it's set for years. What happened there in the late 1970s, I think it was 1977. There was a gentleman that lived in that house. His name was Walter Canute. He was brutally murdered in the house, then drugged down the driveway. Well, they believe he was murdered in the house of drug. He may, I don't know. Nobody really knows. It's never been solved. But he was drugged down the driveway from the house to the end of the driveway. Oh, it's like an eighth of a mile. It's a long driveway. At the time, that was the only house there. Now there's other houses around it. But this house still there, and it's actually one of the homesteads for the founding families for Marion County. So that house has been there a long time.
There's also a lot of Indian history.
Yeah.
Surrounding that area also.
If you look up, if you read the story about
there was a attack on a it was
well, it wasn't an attack. Oh shoot, I can't remember his name. Well, I'm getting off topic. I have to remember here in a little bit. But anyway, the guy that owned the house, it was part of the family. Years and years ago, back in the founding days, had a high fever at one time and had a dream that Indians were going to kill his family. Well, it kind of came true. Indians did attack, and he went to the outside. These Indians were coming toward his two children. I think one was a daughter, one was a son. He ended up killing both the Indians, and there's a graveyard there right off the property where he's buried. I think he's buried, and was it David Morgan? Might have been David Morgan. It's a Morgan's is what I think might be David Morgan. But anyway, there's a whole story behind it. You can find it in the history, some of the histories of Marion County.
Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan, David Morgan. Well, anyway, back to the part where I'm talking about. Walter Canute was murdered. Nobody ever found out why he was murdered, but he was drugged from the house to the end of the driveway and set against a fence post. People went by early that morning and thought he was just sitting there. They didn't realize he was been murdered and whatever. Well, several years later, my uncle and my aunt and their 4 boys moved into that house. I mean, that was in like 80. I remember being there in 84 because that's here. Because I remember we have pictures from 1984. But it was before that. So they lived there probably 2 or 3 years maybe. And weird things went on in that house. One of the things that happened is I was inside the house. I was about, so if I was 84, I was between 9 and 10 years old. And I was sitting there playing with the piano. They had this piano, the upright piano, set in the living room, and it was sitting near the pantry, and I'm sitting there going do 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 do. And if you ever watch on Ghostbusters, you'll see Bill Murray do that on the piano. And when I seen that, I was like, oh my god, I did that when I was a kid. And he said, this drives him nuts. Well, as soon as I was doing that, I got a weird feeling, and I turned around and I looked into my aunt and uncle's bedroom, and I seen, when we you talked about flannel man earlier, I seen white hair. Now get this, white hair. Did not see a head or face. I just seen hair. It's almost like I seen through every body part that would have been there. Hair, a flannel, red flannel shirt, and blue jeans, blue coveralls. And it walked through there. And I took off running. And I remember telling my dad and them about it. They were like, oh, you know, whatever. But there were other times that we'd stay there and things would happen. You heard me talk about the Indians and stuff. Bud, which is my middle brother. They were my mom and dad, my uncles and all. They're just having this big cookout and whatever, a big bonfire, and we got tired and we're in the truck sleeping, and I'm in the back and Bud's in the front seat, and we're sleeping in a pickup truck, and Bud wakes up screaming, like bloody murder, just screaming, and finally he tells me what's going on, and he swears he saw 2 Indian skeletons running through the field. And that's where the graveyard is, and this is where this supposedly happened. Did not know about that whole story until years and years. I mean, like probably 10 years ago. Did not know about that whole story about him killing the Indians. And then there was a time we were there, and again, it was they were having a whatever party, not party. I wouldn't say party, but just a bonfire and everybody hanging out. And me and Bud are in the house, and I'm on the couch, one of the couches, and I feel the couch start to shake. I remember feeling this shake, and then I'm like thinking maybe it was me. You know, maybe jarred myself awake. And then I'm laying there wide awake, and I could feel what felt like fingertips pressing on my back. Not through the cushion, but like in my back. And yeah, so that's one place that scares me to death, and I don't like to go. I don't like to go to it. You was there with me once. We drove up to it. And was you there when I said, hey, you know, do you remember me? And that's when the curtains opened up on the house.
Yeah.
Folks, we drove. I still get chills. I could be a mile from his house and I'll get chills. And I'm getting chills now. But we was driving up the driveway, and we pulled up front. I was thinking it was me, you, DJ, and Kayla.
I think so.
My niece and nephew. And I'm looking at this house, and I'm scared to death, you know, nervous, but I wanted to show everybody where it was at. And for some reason, I looked up, and I was like, you remember me, don't you? And when I did, that's when there was nobody lived in this house. This was before he bought it. It was abandoned.
Yeah.
The curtains actually opened up on the top window.
Yep.
And I'm like, yep, we're done. Let's get out of here. And so that place definitely still scares me, or makes me very nervous. I don't like to be around it. I've had people say, hey, you know, go talk to the fella. He'll give you a tour. I don't want to go in. I really don't.
Yeah.
What was the other part?
A place that you love to be.
In the woods.
I think we answered scares you and changed you.
Yeah. In the woods. I love to be in the woods. I don't have to go out looking for Bigfoot, or I don't have to be looking for anything. I like to be in the woods. I just like the setting, listening, and just enjoying being out there. To me, the listening to the wind is therapeutic. I enjoy it. And Jennifer, she still doesn't understand when I'm like, I come back from being in the woods 2 or 3 days, and I'm like, it's so loud. You know, everything here is so loud. Not the house, but just the surrounding is so loud. Yeah. So yeah.
I understand that. All right, number 4, Dad. This is a topic that I thought was interesting a couple years ago. Did a little research into it, haven't did a lot, and I'm not sure if you'll know much on it, but it's the thoughts on archaeoacoustics. It's but mainly it's the relationship between weird events
Yeah.
and like place with special acoustics, and also
Yeah.
a lot of times these special places were a lot of the places where you would find
Yeah.
cave paintings and
Right.
hieroglyphics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also there's been like places that the UFO events happen,
Hmm.
other type stuff. I always
Yeah.
thought that was interesting that, the people before us would find these places that with
Yeah.
the acoustics.
Now are we also talking about like when people would hear strange sounds before an event, or like some people hear static or popping or cracking stuff like that, or is that something
Mm,
different?
that's something different. This is more just like a place.
Okay.
Archaeoacoustics would be like if you're out in the woods and you found a place with like the perfect echo, the perfect pitch.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like, and then you'd happen to find like a cave painting or something in the same spot. And then
Okay.
after that, you might have an encounter there. Some of the people thought it almost could be used as
Like
like a
a
portal.
like a kind of a sacred spot, or
Yeah, sacred
Okay.
spots. It's pretty interesting if you look into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into it a little more. I've heard of it, but I never looked into it much.
It popped up on that show they were doing about what's the ranch.
Oh, Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, it popped
Okay.
up on there as kind of like it kind of glazed over it, and then that's
Yeah.
what caught my attention. I remember I texted you about it a couple
Yeah,
days
I
ago.
remember talking about. Yeah.
And then I kind of did some research into it and kind of didn't. So I just wondered if you had any thoughts on it or had any knowledge on it.
No, I haven't really looked into that much.
Okay.
Hey Pat, how you doing, buddy? All right, go ahead.
Number 5. This is Madeline's question. First experience you had and first time someone shared their experience with you.
Say it again.
Your first experience and the first time someone shared their experience with you. I can
My first experience with what?
I think just paranormal.
Just paranormal. Well, it would
Yeah.
be the whole when I was. Well, I had experiences before, but I really didn't know they were experiences. I guess you'd
Yeah.
say until later. But the one that it's always stuck with me is what happened when I was 8 years old. With the shadow person.
Yeah.
Which is what got me started. Basically got me started doing what I do. And and first, you mean first experience that somebody shared with me?
Yeah. It could
Um,
be the first report you took, or how about the first, you don't know why, but someone had the confidence in you to tell you their weird story.
Actually, that probably happened this year. I believe that would be. I really believe that would be the one that really sticks out. A gentleman that lives in the town that I grew up in. Um, Contacted me. I knew this man, around town. He's much older than me,
In passing.
but yeah, in passing. I mean, I knew who he was. I know I knew his daughters, um, but I knew him. Like he used to work at the local service station when it was there, but he didn't really know me. But somehow, later in life we got connected. He contacted me about an alien experience he had in
Yeah.
the 19, I think it was 1967, maybe. I
Yeah.
believe it was 1967. He talks about being the son of a coal miner, which back then, yeah, that wasn't like a claim of grandeur or anything.
Yeah.
He said that there were it. I have I have all the information, but there was the buildings are still there. There was a camp in the southern part of West Virginia that was open for the kids of coal miners, and they would go during the summer. It was a summer camp, and he was there, and he started off his conversation with me. You know, he had enough confidence or enough. I guess he was comfortable enough to talk to me after we talked for a little bit, or talked on the phone and stuff. And I finally went to his house and talked to him, and he had enough confidence, or he was comfortable enough to say, "Yeah, here's what happened when I was usually 10 or 11 years old. I was at this camp, and he said, I'm gonna tell you, I was a bedwetter. You know, he said it happens. You know, other kids had the same issues over years. You know, it's nothing uncommon. And he was he was in the camp. He was in the cabin and laying in the bed, and there were several other campers there, and there was also a uh, what am I trying to think of? The camp counselor. There was a counselor in the cabin, and he's laying there. He said, I didn't want to go to sleep. He said, I tried not to go to sleep. He said, because I'm afraid I'd wet the bed and I'd be made fun of and stuff. And so he's laying there in bed, and he hears the screen door open on the cabin. He hears that squeaking. It was a wooden screen door, and he hears the squeaking, and he looks down toward the screen door, and he sees this thing walk in the screen door or in through the doorway. And he had pictures he showed me for comparison. But it was what your typical, what they call gray alien. The same shape. The shape. There was no clothes on. It had the almond shaped looking eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
And it started walking down toward where he was at. So it got, and I asked him how far, you know, it was cabin. And he told me once he noticed it, it was about 25. I think he said 25 or so feet away, and it got to about 5 to 10 feet from him. And for some reason, the counselor stirred, you know, moved and rolled around, and this thing turned and ran and hit the screen door and went back out and outside, and this door slammed again, and that's when the counselor woke up, I guess, and everybody, some other people, but he remembers seeing that. He never told anybody. He got up the next morning and was in what he called a chow line, which, you know, what is, you know, obviously why it's called chow line. He's for breakfast, and he heard 2 or 3 camp counselors talking about seeing a craft over the river uh, the night prior. And so he just, after all those years, he wanted to tell somebody, and he somehow found me online. Didn't know that I grew up in Grantown. Didn't really know. Like I said, I knew him once I got to talking to him, and he just, you know, he said, I really want to finally tell my story to somebody, and like I said, that's wanted to stick with me for quite a while, you know, because I'm grateful that he did.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, question number 6. Rank your top 5 places you want to explore / investigate, and why. So
Top
this
5.
could be paranormal, could be Bigfoot, could be place you want to explore, or your place you want to investigate. So you choose your type of hunt.
Paranormal investigation, probably. Oh shoot. Oh, now I can't. I had a blank on the name. It's the big hotel out there in Colorado where The Shining. It'll come to me in a minute, but yeah, I would love to go there. Somebody's going to tell me. He can remind me.
Yeah.
I know the name of it. I just having a blank on it. I'd love to investigate there. I would love to go to Loch Ness.
Yeah.
For sure. Just because I had a fascination with that.
Yeah.
Even though everything's trying to kill you down there, I'd like to go to Florida. I'd like to look for the skunk ape stuff in Florida.
Yeah.
I got somebody down there has already asked me to come down. I was like, man, I really wish I could. You know, so if anybody wants to fund me going to Florida for a week of exploration on this guy's property, yeah, hit me up. The Stanley Hotel. Yes, that's it. Sorry, Danny. Thank you, Danny. Yeah, I just could not remember the name right off the hand. So that's 3. Top 5. Mogollon Rim. I would love to go there. I would love to go there. To look for the Mogollon monster, or however Mogollon, how you say it. That would be cool. Number 5.
Do you have any interest in it, looking for Bigfoot in the Pacific Northwest, or
absolutely, I would.
Or are you content looking here?
No, I really would like to go to Bigfoot, or I really like to go to the Pacific Northwest. I would like to explore out there. I would love to see the Patterson-Gimlin film site. I know
Yeah.
it's hard to find right now. People know where, some people know it. I know a couple people that know exactly where it's at. They live out there. So I would love to see that. Uh, yeah, some of the Northern California stuff I would think would be cool to do and
Yeah.
hang out. Um, oh yeah, I definitely would like to go to Alaska. I mean, I would like
Yeah.
to, some Bigfoot stuff in Alaska.
Is
Uh,
Bigfoot that prevalent in Alaska? Because I don't
oh
think of.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think of. I don't know. I don't really think of it.
yeah.
I guess probably more UFOs.
No, there's a lot of Bigfoot stuff. I mean, look up Portlock.
Yeah.
There's a town. I mean, it depends on who you talk. They even done some shows about it, about this town called Portlock that was abandoned because there was supposedly a creature killing people in this town years and years and years ago. But some people say, yeah, Mount Shasta would be a cool place, and that Pat, very, very, yeah. But if I was in Washington, I'd love to go around what they call the Lewis River. There's a lot of activity in the Lewis River. I like to go around Mount St. Helens probably.
Where
Um,
is that story of the Bigfoots that were attacking the cabin?
that isn't Washington. That's Ape
Okay.
Canyon. I know.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. I know. I could not think of.
Mark Marcel is probably the foremost expert on the Ape Canyon incident. He's part of the Olympic project in Washington State.
Yeah.
I'd love to get him on here one day. I'm going to send him a message one day and say, hey, see, I know there's a big time difference. See if he can make it work. I'd love to have him on.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely would like to go out and hang out with those guys. Shane Corson, Mark Marcel, a few of those other guys that's on the Pacific or yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I just said it. Yeah, Portlock would be
The-
cool. Very haunted Bigfoot activity. Yes, Danny, it
Huh.
is.
That's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to look into that. I always thought that Ape Canyon story was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I don't know how many people know about the Eight Canyon story, but look it up. It's awesome. Nahanni Valley of the Headless Men. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of headless stories that can be. I mean, we even got some here, Roger. There's actually some here in West Virginia. Did you know that?
I think I'm not.
Of,
Think
of all places around the Point Pleasant area, headless uh, ghosts.
I think I'm not too far away from one.
Oh yeah, Coffin Hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tongue twister.
Yeah, Alex was there not too long ago at Port Lock and Port Chatham. Larry Beans Baxter, he's from that area. He's been there. So if you know who that is, Dave, he actually lives out there. Look, he's got a couple document. He's got a document channel. He's been on a couple of the shows about Port Lock. If it's a pretty interesting place. Whether it was actually the whole lore behind it was true, I don't know, but it's a pretty interesting story.
All right, you ready for number 7, Dad?
Yeah.
Or is there cryptids, topics, phenomenon you stay away from and try not to give energy to, and why?
A cryptid phenomenon?
Cryptid, topics, phenomenon.
Dogman.
Dogman.
I mean, I take reports, but I don't go out hunting, I guess you'd say, for that thing.
Yeah.
Flesh pedestrians.
S word.
Skinwalkers, all right.
Yeah.
The reason folks, it's a funny story behind the flesh. I was actually at a little book signing. This young lady come up, had some Native American background, and she goes, I'd like to talk to you about something. And she goes, we really don't talk about it, but I'll just use another name. And she said flesh pedestrians. And I was like, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. So that's kind of an inside joke, but she had a pretty awesome insight on what she was talking about. So
yeah, I figured that'd be one you stay away from, don't want to talk about. You got any more?
No, not really.
Really in that kind of ilk that either the lore or personal experience you just don't want to talk about.
Nah, I think that's probably it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Martin Groves, Dave. Look up Martin Groves. What Mothman 46? He's got a question for both of us here, I guess. What do you guys personally feel about Skinwalker Ranch? I've not really looked into it much. I know there's some strange stuff going. A lot of UFO stuff goes on there. A lot of weird phenomena, kind of like portal type phenomena. I know the Skinwalker stuff is supposedly big in that area.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty.
It's an interesting subject. But hey, Roger, have you ever heard of the Blind Frog Ranch? It's real close by. That has some weird activity goes on there as well.
It's pretty exhaustive to research Skinwalker Ranch because there's so many stories, so many like owners and like just weird owners also. Like isn't it government?
No, there's one guy that owns it, I think. Now,
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's got some weird.
It
weird
was
phenomena
government or something because you couldn't go there because it was.
Well, it's kind of
research land or something.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. The Blind Frog Ranch. You contact those guys. They'll give you tours of their place.
Yeah,
and it's not too far from Skinwalker Ranch.
Skinwalker Ranch is very. I don't know. It just seems. I don't know. A portal, maybe. Just from all this stuff, they have a little bit of everything. I don't know if there's actual Bigfoot sightings, but it wouldn't surprise me. Someone probably has a story.
I'm pretty sure probably there is. Danny's got a question for you. Have you done anything by yourself without your dad?
I ate dinner, but no, not really. Not really any investigating without my dad. I don't think so. Besides going to historical sites, I'm very interested in historical sites and Civil War stuff and stuff like that. But I don't really investigate much without my dad.
Johnny, do you all think this stuff goes back to fallen angels and how they mess with people and animals?
Nephilim's
the Nephilim and stuff. Yeah, it's an interesting topic. I don't know if it's all connected with that. Some of it seems it could be,
Yeah,
but I don't know if everything is.
Whatever the connection between Nephilim and that book of Enoch.
Right.
That's interesting. I have not read that, but so I can't give you. I've just listened to podcasts and remember stuff. And was it Dead Sea Scrolls and all that?
Right. Do I think Bigfoot is related to Nephilim? I really don't. I don't, because mainly because I think, and it's maybe wrong or like naive of me, but mainly because I think it's something that can actually exist naturally if it is a primate. But things like Dogman, which just seems way out of left field there. That's got to be something different. And some of these other creatures that are out there. What else you got, Justin?
All right, where did we just finish? Okay, number 8. Dream guest on the podcast. Dream partner for a Bigfoot hunt or a ghost hunt.
All right, what was the first part again?
Your dream guest for your podcast.
Oh, Wes Germer, for sure.
Really?
Well, yeah, I just like. Well, yeah, I would like to have Wes on. Again, I'd like to have Mark Marcel on. I'd like to have Martin Groves on. I'd love to have Martin Groves. Bob Gimlin. Bob Gimlin would probably be at the top. But I just would like to talk to Wes Germer. I just, been listening to him so long and stuff on the Sasquatch Chronicles and stuff. I just think it was awesome to talk to him. And what was the second? Go ahead, the second part.
think I'm hearing my daughter in the background.
Yeah, I heard her. She's in there saying something.
Yeah. Dream partner for a Bigfoot hunt and or a ghost hunt.
And Orcas. Josh Gates. I don't know. I like his energy. I think it'd be cool. I like his some of when it comes to certain things, he does have a skeptical side, skepticism. I like that.
Yeah.
Um,
You wouldn't want to
yeah.
go out with the Mountain Monster boys?
Oh yeah, I'd go out with them guys. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, but Josh Gates would probably be it. Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, I've hung out with Wild Bill and I've hung out with Huckleberry before. But Josh Gates would be cool.
You haven't met Buck?
Yeah, I've met Buck. I've met all of them.
I
But
thought so.
but I've been around. Huckleberry more. I've done a few things with. Yeah, Belinda, I know Joe really well. I mean, Joe and I we've actually did a couple things together. Um, he actually took me to the site down there to Kanawha State Forest where he had his sightings. So yeah, it's Joe's an awesome guy. Mothman 4 says, I'm waiting for a tour of the caves where you cast Mason's print. Hey, we can go there any day. That's right outside of Rollsburg. It's just a big open cave. But the one I want to take you to is in Elkins. I want to take you to, which you may have, Mothman, you may have been there. I don't know. It's the Bowden Cave, not the big one along the highway, but another one over by the fish hatchery. Wild Bill is a hoot. Yes, he's a hoot.
He is.
Dave,
I've seen him at Grand China like 4 times.
yeah. He's always up there. Dave, anytime, buddy. I'd talk to you anytime. What else, Justin? What was this third part?
Oh, there was only 2: Dream Podcast and Dream Bigfoot Ghost Hunt.
Okay.
Thoughts on number 9? Thoughts on collecting haunted items like Zach Baggins' museum he has.
I think you're better off to do it like Johnny Zaffis does. Johnny Zaffis is probably more well known for that. Collecting haunted items. I've had a couple items that people claim to be haunted, and I took them to a friend of mine that has a museum. Thoughts on doing it and keeping them? I don't want to keep them in my house.
Would you have a storefront, storage locker? How would you do it?
No, I'd have a. I mean, you'd have to be careful with some of that stuff. I mean, some of that stuff can be dangerous. You know what I mean?
Have you heard the lore of the people, like these celebrities visiting Zach Baggins' museum?
Yeah.
And the stuff that like happens to them within like a week.
Yeah, I mean, you hear that. You hear that with a lot of stuff. You hear that with the what you call it, the Robert doll. You hear that with
He has some nasty stuff there.
Yeah. Well, so did the Warrens, and so does Johnny Zaffis, which is a nephew of the Warrens.
I'd have to look into him, but I know Zach Baggins has like serial killers.
Yeah. Clothes
and stuff and all that type of stuff also.
Yeah.
I think he has like Dean Martin, the one that rolled that.
Yeah.
Well, he has like the car in there.
Where did he find the car? Because last time I heard that car was lost and nobody knows where it's at.
Well, he has.
It's called the Gray Ghost. So
I seen something that he had like the door of it or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's supposedly a cursed car. Yeah.
Yeah, the stories of the people leaving there and having almost immediate karma. I don't know.
Well, that's the same way with the cave, Bell Witch Cave. People will talk about taking rocks from there, and then they have bad luck and all kind of stuff. Things happen, and they'll send the rocks back and everything. So yeah, you just got to be careful with some of the stuff. You know.
Oh yeah. I thought you froze there for a minute.
No, I'm looking at reading something here. Belinda says, I don't like Divic boxes and dolls. I don't like dolls.
I don't like dolls.
Divic box, I don't know. I don't know if I want to. I mean, I know what they are. You know, I don't know if I'd really want to mess one either. So, yeah, Mothman 46. Right, that's right. I'm not inviting anything in. Here we go. About anything I leave thrift store finds in the car and shed for a while before I bring them in the store. Uh, I'm
Yeah.
I'm not I'm bad
Here.
about not doing that.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, but I'll give you a story. The one time that I collected dirt for a guy that I know has a haunted relics museum, and he takes dirt from haunted areas, and I took dirt from Highland Cemetery from near what they call the witch's grave, and that's when we here at the house had a couple weird things happen, maybe shadow figure scene, and I got rid of the dirt pretty quick.
Also, you would do the sketchings too.
Yeah,
You think that could carry anything?
maybe, maybe. I mean, a lot of weird stuff. A lot of things can be attached. It can be attached to I mean, just like anything. Uh, a personal object. They say, like I got canteens and stuff sitting here from World War II. I've got a couple other things like that, and you know that
Yeah.
can that could hold something. You don't know where that comes from. Then I have weird kind of things like this. It's just a it's a dental mold. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not haunted, but it's just an oddity. But you never know what's attached to some of this stuff.
Do you think you've had items that were cursed, haunted,
Yeah,
besides the dirt, like more of
yeah,
a personal?
yeah. I had a doll and I had a picture. I had a painting, or was it not really a painting? It was just an old picture of a lady. I had a doll that was what some people know what they call them primitive dolls. It wasn't really old. It wasn't old at all, but it was just the weirdest looking thing. And a friend of mine gave it to me. He said his wife found it at a thrift store. There we go, Mothman 46. He found it at a thrift store, and they brought it home. And he said, "Dude, I really don't know if or if my family is messing with me, or there's something going on with this doll." He said, "But I'll come home. It'll be in a different spot than where I left it. It'll be, different things like that." And he said, I would like for you to have it. I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And I was like, well, yeah, I said, I got a place I could take it. So I'm talking to him, and then he had his wife, without me knowing it, had his son, I think it was, or his daughter. No, it was her sister. Her sister was there. Take it and put it in my car. And the time I was there, I had done forgot about the doll. So I'm leaving his house. I left Sutton, and I got up and I turned on the 79, and I looked up in the rear view mirror and stuff, or looked in the side view mirror, and something caught my eye. And I looked in the rear view mirror, and here's this doll in my back seat, sitting straight up.
How big was it?
Oh, it was probably 2 foot tall.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was thinking of a.
No, it was
Almost.
like a stuffed doll.
I was thinking of like a
And
voodoo doll.
no, and I about had a heart attack. So I took it, and I took it to Steve Hummel's place, and he left it there, but it never moved or anything, never did anything else. But he said that people got a weird feelings vibe from it, and you probably seen it when you went up there when I was up there at the museum that time, and it was that like a stuffed doll that had been dyed like a blackish color,
Yeah.
blackish brown, and had that little dress on, just sat in the chair, and that one.
The creepy ones are like the I don't know what they are. It's the
The
man one.
the ventriloquist
Yeah,
doll.
I
Yeah.
always think the eyes are moving on you.
I beat the Hawaiian lava rock curse. A native Hawaiian told us we'd be fine if we left an offering. It worked. Oh, that's cool. Danny Buckner, what about the mirror? Danny, I hate mirrors.
Yeah.
I don't like mirrors. We there's a thing we use. I know, Justin, you got questions. I forget. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
But it's called the oh, now I had a blank on it. Where you look in the mirror, you sit there in the light. Remember we did it at in Sisterville, the hotel in Sisterville.
Yeah.
Um,
I know what you're talking about.
well, anyway, yeah, you sit and look at the light, like this low light, and you stare at a mirror, and supposedly things you can see things. So, yeah, I don't like mirrors, Danny.
I know we moved in this house in December, and the first thing my wife did was take that leftover mirror that was in the living room out of here.
Yeah.
she was adamant on getting the mirror out of here.
Yeah.
One of those old like oval ones with like the
Yeah.
gold border. She was
Yeah.
adamant
Their
to get it out of here.
mirrors are weird. All right, let's do the questions. I know you got to get.
Okay. All right. We just did haunted items. Okay. Number 10. Your biggest inspiration in the paranormal field.
You, because you're the one that said, "Hey, Dad, I want to go ghost hunting," when you were a kid,
Yeah.
and that inspired me to do it and start doing it, and it continue to do it. Really, it
Yeah.
gave me the drive to do it. The courage, or not necessarily courage, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I would say you.
I'm just the idea guy.
Yeah, but if you didn't say, "Hey, Dad, I like to go ghost hunting," I probably would have never set out and done it like we did.
Yeah.
I
I'm just
probably would just like,
I, I texted you the idea for the West Virginia case.
yeah,
You're the
yeah,
you're the action guy. I'm the idea guy.
yep,
You're all
yep,
action. I just like to think of stuff.
yep.
But it's cool to see it come to
Fruition.
fruition. That's been awesome to watch over a couple years.
It's been 7 years now, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
the West Virginia Cryptids and Strange Encounters. I think it's been 7 years.
Wow. I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize it's been that long.
Yep.
Number 10. Nope, I just did number 10. Sorry about that. Number 11.
Okay.
The work you do, how do you want it and yourself to be remembered?
I don't care. I don't look for any kind of notoriety from any of it. I just want it to be. I want people to share it. I want to share it with people. I don't want to keep it. I don't want to put it away. I want. That's why my stuff's in the Bigfoot Museum. That's why I talk to a lot of people. That's why I share stories with people. That's why I like people to share stories with me. I just want it to be out there, for people to say, "Hey, this is cool." It has nothing to do with me. As far I just the stuff that I've collected. You know, it's all going to go to you guys. It's not much. There's books and stuff like. I mean, I got hundreds of books in there. What you guys do with them, or I don't know,
Yeah.
donate them to a library or something. That's fine. But yeah,
You're not gatekeeping no information. You want it out there.
yeah. I mean, it's yeah.
Yeah. Last question, I believe. Besides the speed round, we'll get to the speed round.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself, the channel, the investigations, etc., in 5 to 10 years, and where do you want to see it?
Honestly, I would love, the West Virginia Cryptids and Strange Encounters. I've had a dream, or I guess not. I guess I don't know if you want to say a dream, but I've had where I would like for it to be kind of a not a well, what's the right word? I'd like to find people in the state of West Virginia that I can trust in certain areas to investigate when something comes in.
Yeah.
A group or something, or co-op, whatever you want to call, whatever the heck you want to call that.
Response force.
I can just say, hey, I got a report. Can you guys go check this out? The right people, the right, responsible people. I'd like to have it to where there's a set way that it's investigated.
Yeah.
The way the material's collected, the way the data is collected, everything. Where there's not. Yeah.
Ethics and standards.
Right. I would like that. I would love for that to happen. I think that would be cool. It doesn't have to be somebody in every county. I know somebody does that in Pennsylvania. It would have to be somebody in every county. But I would like to have maybe regions, maybe the panhandles, maybe the north central part, maybe the central, west central, east central, and like south, something like that. Something
Yeah.
just different zones, and make kind of make it grow a little bit, but not super big. But something like that. What was the other part of it?
It was just, where do you see yourself, the channel, investigation, etc., in 5-10 years, and where do you want to see it? So
That's where I would like to see it. Yeah,
yeah,
all that right there. That'd be cool.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty, you want to do a speed round?
Yep. Let's go.
All right, so it's just two options. You say which one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
EVP or Bigfoot Howl?
EVPs.
Blurry picture of a cryptid or a blurry video of a UFO?
Blurry cryptid.
Record eyewitness story or have the encounter?
I like hearing the story, so record the eyewitness. I don't care if I have an encounter. I enjoy hearing other people's things, because I know that
Yeah.
I can take, that with me sometime.
Yeah. Know the truth on UFOs or Bigfoot?
Oh, what if they're connected?
Yeah. What if they are?
Well, I guess if we know we go either way, we'd know, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I'd
I guess the truth would come out one way or another if they're connected.
Yeah, I'd go Bigfoot on that one.
All right, last one. Write a New York bestseller book or have a TV show?
I don't know if I want to write a book. A New York bestseller. That's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure.
Well, you don't have to intend to write a New York bestseller. But if you have a TV show, you have a TV show.
Yeah.
But you could just write a book that becomes a New York bestseller. You can't really just start a TV show that becomes a TV show.
Is there a certain topic it would be on?
One of your topics, something you would think of. I don't know why you sounded so Irish when you said that. A certain topic it would be on.
I don't know. I'd probably one, because I don't like being out in the spotlight too much.
Yeah.
So I'd probably rather do the book. I mean, I know I've been on a couple things, but to do a whole TV show,
yeah,
I don't know. I think I would probably rather do the book.
I think if you had control of the TV show, you'd be fine. If they were just if they just followed you, not really. Well, here Survivor Man style, but
right.
Well, he kind of does his Bigfoot
stuff
now.
He does it all on his own, yeah. But here's another reason for the book.
He's a Bigfoot guy now, and they kind of call him a kook.
No.
People that just was into him for Survivor Man.
Yeah.
You gotta be a little crazy just to be a Survivor Man. You think?
I think the book. Another reason why I do the book is because I'd have more control of the book.
Yeah.
The TV show. It's TV. They're going to press you into doing something or manipulate you in a way the way they want. So I think I'd rather do the book.
Yeah, they can control their agenda.
Yeah.
Have an agenda and control it. That makes sense. I think that's all I have for you, Dad.
Well, that was great. We're at a minute 23.
Hour 23.
Hour 23, yeah. Folks, anybody else got any questions for me or Justin?
If it was a minute 23, we just lived a time slip.
Yeah. Not so perfect. Bigfoot Show says hard pass on collections. I'd probably say it. Belinda says your own team. I don't know if I want a team. I would just like to have I'm trying to think of the right word. Not a group either, but just people that are in areas.
Response force.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. I mean, other people have done it. It's happened.
It wasn't. It's not a new idea.
No. Just for example, Stan Gordon, Pennsylvania.
That's who I was thinking of.
Did it back in the 60s and stuff.
Did West Virginia have anything like that? Or did he cover West Virginia?
No, he was mainly just Pennsylvania.
I thought there was a West Virginia guy. Could have swore I remember hearing about one. I
No,
don't
just
know.
no. I mean, there's other pages, people on Facebook that have their little groups. Like everybody did their ghost hunting groups. Everybody did their now people do Bigfoot groups, but they're out there. But as
Yeah,
far as like a collective, maybe that's what I'm trying to think. A collective,
yeah, yeah.
something like that. Mothman 46, Odell's Justin League or Justice League.
Yeah.
I'm gonna copyright that, Roger. Put that right on there. We got a
That'll be the
big old
sticker on the side of all the vehicles.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott S is like time to get cameras outside, catch them Bigfoot pics. Yep, I've been trying.
Yeah.
A lot of
What's your
people, a lot of
What's your thoughts? You've probably talked about it before, but just how they seem not to be much on game cameras, like how they can almost sense like a game camera. Because Wes Germer's talked about if you don't want Bigfoot on your land, put up game cameras and like the motion sensor
lights.
lights.
Yeah, I mean there've been pictures out there that people say they've caught them. I've seen a few of them, but they're always the same thing. Weird, strange, blurry, whatever.
Yeah.
Except for some of the ones you'll find that's kind of up close, and other people will say, "Oh yeah, it's something else." Well, it could be. Um,
Yeah.
Whether they deter them from coming around, may I don't. As far as it may be, okay. Here's how I think about that, and it's just how I think about it. It's not necessarily means it's true or the gospel, but um, game cameras, believe it or not, they're noisy, and if you have something that lives in that environment, that's their environment. Same as we live in our environment. I know other animals live out there, deer, and they do. But if you have something out there that's in that environment that supposedly has an intelligence that could, in some, it could be somewhat close to equal to ours, or maybe in some aspects exceed ours. They're going to know what these things are. Not necessarily know what they are. They're going to say, "Hey, that doesn't belong here. This is something." And if they've ever watched us, put because a lot of people talk about how when they're hunting, they seem to know what a gun is,
Yeah.
because they've watched people hunt for if they've been out in the woods and they've observed humans and what these things they got do. Maybe that's why. Other things could be like Dave said there, scent. They could avoid scent, because that's why a lot of bear seem to rip down game cameras. They're attracted to, especially if they have lithium batteries. And my understanding is because the scent of the batteries remind them almost of like a beehive or something like that. So that's why they tear the cameras down. So maybe they have an extremely pronounced scent or smeller or whatever you call it. Far as not seeing the infrared, I don't know how that would deter them, because there's no infrared really until the cameras go off.
Yeah.
Basically, that my understanding. Because I know the infrared lights come on, and I know you have the beam that sets supposed beam or motion detection, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know if that really does it. But yeah, there have been pictures that supposedly people caught on game cameras. I don't know. Belinda, to me, I think they are curious creatures and things can grab their attention. Yep, I believe so. Let me put this up here. I wonder what their life expectancy is. I'm guessing maybe 100. See, I agree with that, Scott. I don't, I've always said that. I can't say maybe hundreds of years, but to me, if they're out there and there's a limited number, I'd say there has to be a lot less than what some people claim. I mean, I've heard some exorbitant numbers, like 50,000 or 100,000 in the United States. That just, to me, seems just way too high for the amount of sightings that actually take place. I think that possibly they do have a longer lifespan. I think I think possibly the um, shoot. Yeah, 60 to 70. Their joints must go with age all that weight. Um, I would agree with maybe 60, 70 years old, or maybe older. The joints is all that weight. See, that's the thing. I don't think they're all that. I don't think all of them are big. I don't think they're all huge. Um, yeah, there are the stories you hear of 7, 8 feet tall, but a lot of them you hear, or if you look into a lot of reports, you'll hear some it's only 6 feet, 5 or 6 feet. I've heard reports of 4 feet, and I don't necessarily mean that that's a juvenile. I just don't think that all of them are as big as what some of the stories are, and I think some of the stories about, or some of the reports of these being super, very large, I think sometimes is maybe adrenaline motive or driven. I think you know your brain makes things look bigger than what it is when you have that experience. Mothman 46. Let me get here. Trying to get this hid. I know we're winding down here. In my opinion, Bigfoot would definitely see, smell, or possibly hear the camera. I have a problem with them knowing what it does. Yeah, I don't think they know what it does. What I meant, Roger, was kind of meaning like, same way with firearms. I mean, now they probably know what it does. Knowing what it is. They just know, hey, that's a boomstick of some sort, or something like that, maybe. But yeah, knowing what the camera does, I don't know. I don't think they know what it is too, but I think they might just stay away from it because of certain smells, and maybe because it's related to humans, and they know what we would do. You know what I mean? So maybe that's more in that lines there. I do think the white ones or gray ones are the older ones in their 60s. It's possible, very possible. Or it could be albinonism, or how you say that. Because I've talked to people that had seen it with pink eyes. One lady I talked to who saw a white one had, in her words, brilliant blue crystal like eyes. Very blue. All right.
Reminds me of the gorilla of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Winter.
Yeah, Danny. I just put this up here. Like someone said, some human-made items they may not like. That's what I was talking to you before, Danny. We were talking about putting cameras and stuff out. I thought this too, but I remember Cliff Barrickman actually said it. Why put cameras out in the forest where these things are used to seeing, knowing what's in the forest? If you're going to put a man-made object out, put it on a man-made object, say like a Highline Tower or something like that. Then they know it's man-made, and it might not be as conspicuous or obvious to them.
That makes sense.
Yep. Well, is that it?
I think so. Unless you got anything else you want to say.
Nope. I'm good. I had a fun time. That was awesome. Awesome. Very awesome. Anybody else got anything? Any questions? I think we're going to wind it down. I know we both got to get up early in the morning. Yeah. 4 o'clock comes quick. Piebald Bigfoot. Yeah. I mean, I don't see why it couldn't happen. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate you coming, man. Thanks, Danny. I'm sorry, Justin, you're not seeing these. Scott said, Scott says, cool conversation. Danny says, awesome show, very good host. That's you, buddy. Yeah, you did good. I mean, I enjoyed that. I really did. Belinda,
Yeah.
great show, guys. Sorry, great show, guys, tonight. Thank you, Belinda. Thank you guys for coming. All you guys that come, the regular guys, guys and gals. I'm sorry. I just say guys in general. I don't mean anything by it, but thank you everybody for coming. It's a fun time. I always enjoy the chat, watching the chat, and you guys always have awesome questions and comments, man. Very fun, very fun. Thanks, Vesta. Hey, Laura was telling me that you've been talking to her about Brody. I want you guys to come to if you can, come to the camp out. I would like to have you. I'd like to have Brody there, and you guys come hang out and camp if you want and hang out with all of us. Awesome guys up there on screen. Thanks, Dave. Good night, Scott. Good night, Danny. All right, Justin. I'll put you in the background here in a minute. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, hold on. I hope you can make it, Vesta. That'll be fun. Yeah, very fun. Hang out with you guys again. Do some more Bigfooting. All right, folks. Well, that was fun. I had a great time. Justin was great host. Awesome questions. Made me think a lot. Very, very fun questions to answer. And yeah, he's my boy, my son. Like I said, he is an inspiration for me to get into the paranormal stuff I did and the Bigfooting. Because he's the one that started listening to podcasts, and he goes, "Hey, what do you think about Bigfoot?" And I'm like, I think it's cool. I said I never really got much thought, and then we started listening to it, and he's the one that kind of steered me in that direction, and yeah, that's how it got started. It's all she wrote there, and it's been a fun ride. And I'd love to hang out with Justin. Yeah, anytime, Dave. I'm sure he could. We get some together sometime. Like I said, maybe the camp out and stuff like that. Thanks, Tammy. All right, folks, that's it. I'm starting to ramble because I'm getting tired. I've been up very early and got to get up early again. So thank you all for coming. And don't forget, let me see, when is it? Next Thursday. We have Nancy on. I did not put that out there yet. We have Nancy going to talk about her paranormal experiences. She's had lifetime paranormal experiences and stuff. So she's in the chat room every so often. But she will be on next Thursday, which is September 5th. Again, same time, same place, 7 o'clock. And with that being said, I will see you all next week. Bye.